Hey guys, welcome to Watchdog Central. I just thought I'd stick a film review up this week. I haven't put one up in a while. I went to see a couple of movies last week in the cinema. I was going to make about a week and a half back, but I never actually got around to it, and I ended up making videos on other things, so I just didn't get around to it. But I saw three movies in last week. I saw Straight Out of Compton. I saw the new Krays movie, which I've really been looking forward to watching, which is called Legend with Tom Hardy. And I watched the new Maze Runner film, the sequel, which is called The Scorch Trials. Three really decent movies. I saw them over, I saw two one day and then one the next day. I had to see them quickly because my cinema pass, this is an unlimited cinema pass, where you can see as many movies as you want for like £16–20 a month, was running out. I had like 3 or 4 days left on the card, and then that'll be it. It'll be up. The year will be up. And I was really looking forward to all these films, and they all came on at the very last minute, like within a 3-day period of my card ending, so I had to get to the cinema quickly and watch them all, which was pretty cool. I think the only film I haven't actually saw yet in the last 12 months, one that I'm really looking forward to, I can't remember the name of it, but it's got Johnny Depp in it, where it's one that he plays a gangster in it. I cannot remember the name of it right now for the life of me, but that's a film I'm really looking forward to. Okay, so the first movie I saw was called Straight Out of Compton. The first mistake I made when I went into the cinema was I almost asked for a ticket at the counter for Boys in the Hood. I shit you not, this is a true story, as well as the movie being a true story. I don't know why, but every time I think of anything with Ice Cube in it, I always think of Boys in the Hood. I know he was in Boys in the Hood, but regardless, it's quite embarrassing when you walk out into your local cinema and you ask for a ticket to see a movie and you ask for the wrong name. That's really embarrassing. I didn't actually say the whole of Boys in the Hood, but I said Boys In. And just as I got into the in part, I realised that I made a major cock up, and I looked up at the board and, I mean Straight Out of Compton. I'm not sure whether she clocked it, but I'm pretty sure that she probably thinks I'm a retard. But anyway, all that bullshit aside, I went in to see the movie. Could possibly have been the only white boy in the cinema, but hey, I'm living in London, so whatever, I don't really care. I went in, I saw the movie. I was really excited to see this movie because I like old school OG sort of like rap music. Can't believe I just said that. I'm a honky. Okay, I know this. You know, I like Dre, I like Ice Cube, I like Ice-T. I love all the old school shit, you know. And I didn't know what to expect from the movie. I thought, you know, is it going to be a decent movie? I didn't really watch the trailer either, because I don't watch trailers before I go to the cinema, because trailers spoil things for me. So I go in blind watching all these kind of movies, you know. Okay, so I actually watched the movie and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie from start to finish. It went very quick because it was a very enjoyable film for me. The fact that it had all the elements of the music in it along with it, so it flowed pretty easy. I thought the acting was very good. I know that Ice Cube's son actually played the part of Ice Cube, and I was looking at him the very beginning when I saw Ice Cube in the movie. I was like, damn man, he's got exactly the same kind of face that Ice Cube's got. I mean, you couldn't have picked anyone better to play Ice Cube. And Eazy-E, and I even joked about this on Facebook, remember. I can't remember the last time I saw so many people with jerry curls in one movie. You know, it was fucking classic, man. I like the late 80s sort of like rap scene, the way they all had their hair, the old jerry curls and shit. I find that shit hilarious. So I thought the acting was very good in it. I thought Paul Giamatti put in a great performance playing the manager of NWA. I like quite a lot of the movies he's been in. He was in a film called Private Parts as well, and he's a really brilliant actor. I did actually read quite a few of the reviews on this movie just before I was going to see it and after I watched it, and I know quite a few people, lots of people on the internet claim that this story, there's quite a few bits of this story that are fake and are untrue. But I guess it's like the whole East Coast West Coast thing. Like I say, I'm white. I don't read too much into a lot of this stuff, but I do read bits and pieces here and there, and I understand there's always going to be rivalry between people, you know, especially with this rap music, and you're always going to have one side saying one thing and one side saying another. So I haven't read too much into it, but I know a lot of the stuff that was going on with Dre and Ice Cube in this movie. There was lots of people saying that they basically fabricated certain parts of this movie because Ice Cube is responsible for making the movie along. And you know, if you actually watch some of the interviews, you actually see Dre along there with him, and they're making the movie, and it's basically coming from them. So if you don't, lots of people aren't going to believe their side of the story if they don't particularly like them. So I'm not really going to sit. I don't know the true facts, so I can't really question it. All I can say is from what I saw of the movie, for me as a movie, it was a really cool movie to watch. It had like typical rap music. You've got your music, you've got your great acting, you've got your bitches, your hoes. That's what I want to be. I want to go to cinema and be entertained. Not everything's going to be true, but like I said, I don't know all the true facts. Okay, so the movie clearly was about NWA, but obviously we've seen a few other rappers in it. People who are playing rappers, of course. You've seen a bit of Tupac in it. Tupac wasn't in it for too long. No spoilers or anything here. Tupac wasn't in it for too long, and you've seen Snoop Doggy Dogg. He was only in it for about a minute or something, but he had the exact same voice as him. I thought the guy that played Suge Knight in it, he was bang on, man. He just had the exact same build and everything. I would not fuck with that guy for anything. That guy's just a crazy motherfucker as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, overall, very, very, very cool movie. If you like the whole rap scene, you're into NWA, check this movie out. Very, very cool movie. Overall, I'd probably give this movie about 8 out of 10 because I thoroughly enjoyed it. Very cool movie. Okay, The Krays. The second movie I went to see was Legend with Tom Hardy, which was the best out of all the 3 movies I've seen. I love anything to do with British, or gangsters in general. I watch all kind of gangster films, and the Krays is just classic in my opinion. I love the whole Krays thing. There was the original one that was made in 1990 with the Spandau Ballet guys, the Kemp brothers, which was a really, really, really cool movie to watch. If you haven't seen any of the Krays films, watch the Krays films. And I watched one which was released only about 6 weeks ago, which was called The Rise of the Krays, which it's quite a low budget movie, but I thought the performances in that were quite good. The guy who played Ronnie Kray in The Rise of the Krays, that was actually even his first movie, but I thought he put on a pretty decent performance, and it was very well made. So if you haven't seen The Rise of the Krays yet, I suggest you watch that film, because it basically focuses more on the club scene, the running of the clubs, similar to Legend as well. The first one, which was made around 1990, focuses a lot on the family, the mother and the aunts and all this, and the family background. It consisted a lot of different things like that, but these films, like The Rise of the Krays and Legend, focuses more on the actual club side of it and the running of the clubs, which is very, very cool side to watch. Okay, so I can't fault one part of this movie. The way it was made, the way it all looked back in the 60s, I can't fault any of it. The acting was bang on. Everything in this film was perfect in my opinion. I enjoyed this film just as much as the other two. I mean, even the original one back in 1990, I thought this one was better. Tom Hardy is one of my favourite actors. He nailed this performance from beginning to end. He absolutely nailed it. I like watching Tom Hardy's movies because if you actually look at him in interviews, he was like on the Jonathan Ross show in 2011. If you watch that interview with him, and then watch him play someone, like Ronnie and Reggie Kray, he obviously played the both of them. He was very, very distinctive. If you actually look at the two performances, because Ronnie and Reggie Kray were identical twins, but you can clearly tell the difference because the way he separates the two from each other. It's very good the way he did it. And if there's things like TV shows I've watched with Tom Hardy, and it was one which I only rewatched again this week. I've watched it about 5 times in the past, which is called The Take, which was done by Martina Cole. It's like a British gangster TV show that was on Sky back about 5-6 years ago, and the way he acts in this is pretty similar to the way he acted in that. He just plays an absolute crazy motherfucker in it. He's really, really, but the acting is flawless. Okay, so I thought the acting in it was very good. Everyone played their parts perfectly in it. Emily Browning, who played Frances, was Reggie's wife in the movie, and I also found it extremely funny because if you watch something like The Take with Martina Cole, where Tom Hardy's in that as well, and he sort of he comes across as funny. If you watch Tom Hardy in certain movies like Bronson, where he played the notorious nutjob Charles Bronson, not the film star Charles Bronson, but the guy that was locked up in a British jail for years because he was just he's a nutjob, and he basically attacks people inside jail, and he's just basically never been let out and all this. But if you actually watch things with him in it, like Bronson, and you watch him in The Take, he comes across as being extremely funny, because he uses sort of like, one minute he's acting completely sane, next minute he just goes into absolutely mindless violence. But at the same time, he can actually make it very, very funny. But in The Krays, he did similar things, where there was a part where he was Ronnie Kray, which he plays both parts, the identical twins. Ronnie Kray was meeting Frances, Reggie's wife, for the first time. And he says, we found, yeah, because obviously Ronnie Kray was gay in it. And he said to Frances, he says, but I'm a giver, I'm not a taker, you know, basically gay-wise. So he says, technically, I'm not a homosexual. Some of the shit he came out with in the fucking movie was absolutely hilarious, but all the way throughout it, extremely well-made movie, very, very good acting, and very funny throughout. Okay, so I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I'd probably give it 10 out of 10 all round. I thought the acting was great in it. It flowed. I remember when I go to cinema, I see a film. If the film goes extremely quick for me, I'll give it a higher rating. I literally thought that I was in the cinema for half an hour. That's all it felt like to me. It just flew by. And when a film does that, it means it's really, really good in my opinion. I thought the acting was brilliant. I thought the different kind of actors they had in it, people like Chaz Palminteri, Christopher Eccleston, had a very good cast list in it. I thought the violence scenes in it were, along with the comedic value of it as well, the funny scenes, it had everything in a movie you'd want to go and see in the cinema. If you haven't saw it yet and it's still on, I suggest you go and see it, because it's a very, very cool movie to watch, and I just found it overall very entertaining. Like I say, rating out of 10, definitely 10 out of 10 for me, bang on. So the third movie I went to see was the Maze Runner, the Scorch trials. Now, I haven't read the books, so I obviously clearly don't know what's going to be happening in the future of these movies. But what I will say about the Maze Runner is I watched the first movie for the first time. I didn't get to see it in the cinema for some strange reason. I just couldn't get to see it in time, so I ended up missing it in the cinema. I would have loved to see the original Maze Runner in the cinema, because the original Maze Runner to me was friggin' awesome. As far as I understand, it was I read reviews on it after I watched it, because I thought it was a really, really good film. And there was quite a few people that said, oh, it didn't match up with the books. I mean, I don't read the books. I know there's books to stuff like the Maze Runner, there's books to stuff like the Game of Thrones and Twilight and Harry Potter. Usually I just watch movies. I don't read like that many books, you know. I read some books, you know, stuff that interests me, you know, like if there's certain things like, you know, like Brandon Chopper Reed, like who's a notorious Australian criminal, and, you know, old books on the krays and books on specific things like that. But I don't actually, like, you know, Game of Thrones and stuff like that. I don't actually read books on those kind of things, you know. As a child, I just didn't read. You know, it's like Rodney Dangerfield said in I can't remember when it was, Back to School he was in. He says, why read the books? He said, you can just watch the movie in about an hour and a half, you know, that kind of thing. But I thought the Maze Runner, the first one, was one of the best movies I've ever seen. I just loved the way it was put together. I loved the whole maze thing and the way, you know, they're running around, you don't know whether they're going to get out, and you see these creatures in the maze, and like, that shit to me. I didn't know what to expect for the second one because I hadn't read the books. I thought, is it going to be another maze? You know, and clearly I don't want to put too many spoilers in this, or any spoilers in it for that matter. But you know, there was no maze in the second one. You know, but that's not really a spoiler. Most people who probably read the books anyway. I did actually like the movie. It had Kaya, the girl in it who was in Skin. She wasn't in she came in late into the actual original film, and you know, she was clearly in the whole of the second movie. I liked most of the performances in it. I thought the acting was very good. It was one of those movies where I wasn't actually sure what was going on clearly, because you haven't really got a clue at the beginning. You know, they're held in some kind of a camp and they don't know where they're going or what they're there for and all this. And you know, they're running through certain parts of the movies like this, and they're getting chased by something like 28 days later zombies, and it looks like it's kind of strange, especially to like a PG-13 version of like 28 days later with fucking zombies chasing you and stuff. There are some very, very cool bits in the film. Like I say, I'm not going to spoil it for you because it's one of those films I can't really talk about too much without end up spoiling it. And I hate films being spoiled for me as well. But I'd be interested to see what happens later on in the Maze Runner series. Clearly I haven't read the books and I don't like spoilers, so I never read into things too much. I'm just going to wait for things to come out and watch the future film series of this, and hopefully it'll be just as enjoyable. But like I still prefer the first one a hell of a lot more than the second one, because I just love the whole maze thing at the first one. But that's my review for today anyway. I'd give this film probably 7 out of 10. Less enjoyable than the other two, but still a very, very good watch, very good movie. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in a film review soon.